Good evening. We have 6:30, so we're going to go ahead and call our meeting to order tonight. Appreciate everybody being with us. And at this time, let me just ask, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting? All right, do I have a motion that we approve our minutes from our last meeting?
So moved.
All right, and second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, very good. All right, now with the agenda, do we have any additions?
We do not, we have an addition probably since the last time that you've seen this, and that is the addition of, just today, we received an updated memorandum of understanding with the Jackson County Board of Commissioners and Jackson County Sheriff's Department to continue our partnership with the SROs. So this is something that we approve each June, is actually executed in July. So it's an additional agenda item. I've shared it with Ms. Wheeler. The board supported the addition of two additional SROs that's included in here, and the Board of Commissioners are also providing for those. So just wanted you to be aware that we've added that to the agenda, and I'm happy to share that with you if you'd like to review it.
That's the fourth item that we have on our agenda tonight,
Yes.
correct? Okay. All right, and I guess there's no other changes as far as that's concerned,
No.
right?
That's
Okay. You want to have another question?
I was just gonna ask about the SRO, what's in there other than the additional staff?
I am happy to share it with you. It's a contractual agreement, and so it outlines the responsibilities of the school system, and it outlines the responsibilities of the school resource officers as well as the county's, the sheriff's office, basically. So normally I wouldn't, and quite frankly, the only reason I brought it is it came in today, revised, and I'm happy to leave it and we can lay it on the table until July if you'd like to review it. There are no changes to it other than the change in our commitment to increasing by 2 SROs. So the contractual cost per month is reflected in this contract. And again, happy for you to see it. You just got it today or would have had it to you on last week.
Well, and didn't you say also that they're going to take care of the
They are.
crosswalk? We're not going to have to hire
That is
somebody
correct.
individually for that, so
Right.
they will.
Okay,
One of the
take care
things
of
that we
that.
talked about was the looking for a crossing guard and helping with Mr. Gratian at Gum Springs Elementary School with the traffic pattern. So we'll actually have 3. We'll have the entrance to Gum Springs, we'll have the crossing guard at Gum Springs, and then we'll have West Middle. So they've committed to that. So here are 2 copies of it if you'd like to read it before we get to final action items. You are more than welcome to do so, and we can always table it if you'd like to review it carefully. It just needs to be executed by July, possible. But that's the
Okay.
only addition.
All right. All right, well, with that addition, do I have a motion that we approve our agenda for tonight?
so moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All righty. Okay, Dr. Howard, we'll turn it over to you for your comments
All
tonight.
right, very good, thank you. I want to first say thank you to our visitors. We have some visitors from the general public and welcome you here, and we also have our school leaders who are here, and we're always glad to have them. We had our work session last Monday evening, so many of the items that we're going to approve tonight have already been discussed, but if you all are interested, general public or principals, you can see them. They're all linked in on Assembly, so you can see those for your review. Want to remind the board that we will have a combined meeting and work session in July. That will be on July the 11th. And then on your calendar, you will also see that we've reserved or asked you to reserve July the 26th. That is the last working day before we bring in teachers, and we've actually reserved that day just in case we have last minute personnel items, and that's become kind of a standard operating procedure that honestly, much can happen between the first part of July and right before school starts. So we may not need that meeting, but if you'll kind of pencil that in. So we'll have a combined work session and board meeting July the 11th, and then of course we'll have a penciled tentative that's on your calendar for the 26th of July. So lots of exciting work happening, and because this isn't a work session, I won't spend too much time, but I do want to say a very special thank you to our school leaders and the teaching and learning department who have last week was a very busy week doing some really important curriculum and design work, and it's exciting to see that. And I think each year that we invest in some of that, we get better and better and better. So thank you for leaders being a part of that and sending teachers and helping us get better and preparing for a great kickoff to next year. So next on the agenda, you will see there as a recognition that I'm going to ask Dr. Blankenship to speak a little bit about. We have a special retiree who decided to come back to work. Oh, no, she's not coming back to work. Sorry, Ms. Alexander.
If I could ask Ms. Alexander to come on up. So, we honored Ms. Alexander and quite a number of other retirees, at our May board meeting. But Ms. Alexander is an additional recognition because she, if you remember several years ago in 2017, we began an incentive to reward employees who left our service and had a lot of unused sick leave. And this is primarily our classified employees who are in the PSERS retirement system, so they're not in TRS. The difference for the general public is that the teachers and employees who are in teachers retirement system, their sick leave that goes unused actually can bank and count towards years of service. PSERS employees don't have that option. So we felt like we value those employees and we wanted to give back to them when they give back to us by coming and showing up to work every day, even on the days they probably don't even feel like it. So, Miss Alexander is being given a check. It'll actually be, I told her she has to give this check back to me. But, the real money will be in her paycheck, and this is the equivalent is $5,250.
Wow.
And it will be, it's the equivalent of 4 months worth of unused sick leave.
Wow, that's
And
great.
so we are just very appreciative of Miss Alexander and her service to Jackson County, and wish you very, very well in your retirement.
And thank you for
Yes,
being at work.
thank you so much, yes.
It's safe for a rainy day, so I guess I can spend it today.
There you
That's
go.
Oh, that's great.
Dr. Blankenship, you had some stats on
I
that too.
did.
I would love to hear.
And we did have one other thing.
It won't fit through the
No,
window.
that won't take it in the drive-through, will they?
Thank you, Alice.
We did have one other retiree who was to be recognized, but they have already moved out of state. I mean, they got their retirement started early, so
Oh.
they have moved to the beach,
Oh,
and they are
Oh.
enjoying life. But that's Miss Susan Bennett.
oh, wow, wow.
So, but I did want to share with you all that since its inception, we have recognized the 8 employees with a check for unused sick leave. That's 4 bus drivers, 3 food service workers, and 1 maintenance worker. And that they had a combined 141 years of service
Wow.
to Jackson County.
It's amazing.
27 months of combined unused sick leave, so over 2 years worth of sick leave. And they had an average payout of $4,156. So
That's great.
this is something that is, I just am so grateful that the board saw fit to do this for those employees. It's a small amount that we can give back to them to show our gratitude for their service to our school system. So thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Dr. Blankenship, very much. And congratulations. Did she already out the door? No, she's still here.
No.
All right. Yeah, but you fixed it. Very good. Well, thank you again. And Dr. Blankenship, I'm going to ask maybe if Ms. Finch could come stand kind of beside you, and that since she met with you prior to, and I appreciate that, I'd like to speak to the board and make them aware that we always have an opportunity for public comment, and folks who want to come and make public comment. We have today Ms. Jeanette Finch who would like to address the board. So Ms. Finch, if you want to come and come up for it, are you comfortable there? You do what you're comfortable with. Ms. Finch is a grandmother representing a former student, and she wanted to address the board. Dr. Blankenship met with her last week to make sure she was here last Monday, and we wanted to make sure to protect her and the student, but she wanted to come and share some of her thoughts. So we spoke with Ms. Finch. We've met already, but she wanted to share with the board, and she knows that she's limited limited in time. So Ms. Finch, we will turn it over to you, and it's standard procedure is the board doesn't usually respond at that time, but we'll see if they have any questions for clarification, and then I'll be happy to get back to you afterwards.
Okay. My name, I'll have to read it because I'm not a public speaker. My name is Jeanette Finch. On Wednesday, January the 5th, I met with Dr. Blankenship, and at that time, I was given a copy of a non-resident student's and 7 conditions, which, applies. After reading the paper, I came up with 3 alternatives to being here tonight. Since I'm committed to being here, I decided to follow through. I now realize I should have followed phone calls up in writing instead of waiting on an answer from a verbal message. And I don't do email, so I'm not in the loop and don't know a lot of what's going on. I am here to advocate for my granddaughter, who is a former Jackson County student. Her situation is complicated. I want to portray her as a person and some of her history instead of someone rubber stamped on a piece of paper. She was out of the system for several months. In January, she was looking forward to returning to her former school, familiar surroundings, loving and caring teachers with whom she had had a connection / long history. The teachers were familiar with her moods, etc., and her with them. Am I doing anything that I shouldn't?
No, ma'am. So far, so good. Thank you. You've used 1 minute, so you got 2 left.
She was also looking forward to being with a former classmates for her last years of high school and finish school in the system she has been in for most of her last life. At a January meeting, it came up she was living with me out of district. My application was denied at the dismay of many. She is referred to by many within the Jackson County school system as our girl, and I feel our girl is a sincere sentiment. I am pursuing this matter because I told my granddaughter I'd reapply in the fall if she'd make the best of the end of the 2018-19 January through May school year. Nearly every morning for 3.5 months I heard, call the principal. I want to go back to my former school. I miss my former teachers and classmates. Why can't I go to my former school, etc.? Her siblings are in the county system, which makes it hard to coordinate trips. I pay county school taxes. I am asking that this issue be revisited for the 2019-20 school year. Thank you for your time and consideration of my request.
You did a fine job, Ms. Finch. Thank you for being here. Does the board have any questions or clarification?
I don't think so.
Okay. I will be in touch with you within the next day to give you follow-up from the board's feedback. Okay? Thank you for being here, advocating for your grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We had our board work session a little early last week, and we thank Mr. Clarsey for going to GSBA on our behalf, and certainly you have great updates and insights that you can share with us at some point. But because we met early, we were not able to have our financial statements completed, so we have loaded the financial statements, and they're there for your review and for public view as well. Aaron and Anna are both here, and I think they're still worthy of celebration. You want to comment a little bit on what we have there?
It's basically just a little bit more detail regarding what final balances, what fund balance and SPOS information we shared last Monday. We are 4% above the point in year for revenue collections, and we're 1% below on expenditures for this point in the year. So it's again helping that bottom line. That fund balance is looking good, and again, unless we just go on a spending spree this last month, we should.
Which is
That's
like-
That's what I do.
I was gonna say, you're not-
That's.
You're not gonna let that happen.
No, so we're looking at well above 14, probably $14 to $15 million ending in the balance, so,
That's awesome.
That is right.
Come a long way.
yes, we've come a long way.
Absolutely. I think it's worth the mentioning our SPLOST revenues this month as well. If you want to scroll down, you'll see that continues to trend in a fantastic direction for us. That's record year over year, and so 675 is close to one of our highest collections, and
And
that's
each of these pieces is gonna be a tremendous help, when we go in for our ratings review, here in the next few days for the bond issue, so, each of these things, SPLOST has a big impact, and our general fund, where it's sitting, so these are great things to see, I mean, anytime, but really, especially right now.
so it's also going to help us with the growth that we know that's coming.
Mhm.
We continue to see vertical projects coming out of the ground, and we've seen lots of PVC fields for quite some time, but now they're starting to arrive houses, and it's happening at an exponential rate. So we know that we spoke at the work session. For those of you who are not here at the work session, and Mr. Patton and Mr. Gilbert are working on securing some mobile units in places that we know that we're going to need them, and we're expecting to probably have at least 6 across the district and the West community at different schools. So we'll be prepared to accommodate because we know it's headed our way. So these are definitely funds that are going to be needed as we go forward, and appreciate the hard work. We can't leave that topic without saying a very special thank you to our schools. We have our school leaders here. Just doesn't happen without conservation and being very efficient in the way they choose to use their funds and their personnel. And I think that's helped us to get better. So thank you to all, and thank you, ladies in the finance department. Before we go to the consent agenda items, Ms. Wheeler, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to take an opportunity to introduce a person who's on the agenda that's new, and this is, we learned somewhat late in the year that one of our true servant hearts that has led in Jackson County in a variety of roles for many years, Ms. Teresa Strickland, who's the sitting principal at North Jackson Elementary School, decided to take advantage of a retirement opportunity and is going to turn the chapter and go into the retirement phase of life. And so we were faced with replacing her at North Jackson Elementary School. And Dr. Blankenship, if you don't mind sharing the process that we went through in the
Sure.
selection process, and then let's introduce our recommendation to the board and give her an opportunity to say hello and then to get a name and a face.
Okay. So we followed the same process that we have with our other principal searches, and what that includes is we survey the staff, the parents, and at the high school level we also survey the students. We did not do that in this case since it was an elementary school, but we did survey staff, the faculty and staff and the parents, to find out what they were looking for in their next leader at North Jackson. Then we established obviously we posted the position, and we established a committee that included a cross-section of staff from the school as well as some district staff. And so that committee then met, reviewed applications, determined those that met the criteria that they were looking for, and then we scheduled interviews, and we ended up holding those interviews, and from that process the staff unanimously recommended Ms. Jenica Johnson to be the next leader at North Jackson Elementary School. And Ms. Johnson comes to us, she's been principal at Livonia Elementary this year, but she, prior to that, spent a year at East Jackson Elementary. So in a sense, she's sort of coming back home. She is a resident of Jackson County, and prior to coming to Jackson County, spent I think about 8 years in Gwinnett County as an assistant principal. So she has quite an extensive career in leadership and service. So
Very good. So, Ms. Johnson, wave your hand. And welcome aboard. We're very excited to have you. And I don't know if you have any comments, certainly don't have to, or if the board has any questions or welcoming comments.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Blankenship. I'm just super excited to be back. The year that I spent at East was very refreshing for me in my career. and being a part of a system that's all about kids. And so I'm really excited to be rejoining that system as a school leader this time. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity and looking forward to picking this lady's brain before she travels on. And I hope to get to know staff and students. I'm really excited to get to work.
Welcome.
Good.
We're glad to have you. We heard great reviews from the folks who serve under you at Livonia, and so we'll look forward to having you join our team. And so she's going to make an effort to be a part of as much as she can before Ms. Strickland gets out the door. But we appreciate you making the trek to be here today, even and so we got to put a name with a face. So those are all of the comments that I have at this time, other than to thank everybody for being here. And you may want for us to go through some of the consent agenda items. I don't know if the board members have any questions on any of the recommendations that are there for action items tonight.
I guess we just need to make sure that everybody is okay about us going ahead with item 4, with the agreement with the county
Oh, yeah.
and the,
Yeah. That's
you're
good.
good with that?
I'm good with that.
Yes.
Okay, all right, well, then we'll leave that. Does anybody have any questions about any of the other items that are under the consent agenda?
Item 3, we're just approving this until we get the final millage
Tentative.
back.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We'll have to approve the official budget in October,
Yeah, there'll
when
be
we set the
budget
millage in
hearings and-
September, our budget hearings. So this is the tentative budget, yep. Good question. And of course, I think we discussed with you all of this is the time of the year for all of our liability, auto insurance, like those kinds of things. Those have all been vetted appropriately and got a few. And of course, you all completed your training, so that's a checkbox
That's a
that's
good thing,
important,
yes,
and you've all
yes.
signed off on
Been
that.
a task this year.
It has been a
Yeah,
task. We're gonna
yeah.
make that easier next year, so.
Yeah. All right, any other questions about the agenda? Well, hearing none, do I have a motion that, using the consent agenda, that we approve items 1 through 10?
So moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. Okay, well, thank you folks for coming. We appreciate y'all coming out tonight, and at this time, I'll ask for a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Y'all have a nice evening.